should respect each other, and there is no question. And as far as the police has taken action, now law will take its own course.
Law has taken its own course. You have an interim protection coming in from the Supreme Court. Dr. Shama Mohammed, objectionable statement from Mr. Pawan Khera. He is ready to apologize, but that just only points out to the falling level of political discourse in this country from all political parties, including the Congress party.
First and foremost, let me remind this person, I have not seen him before, Rajiv Pandey, whoever is that from the BJP, that who said Nale ke Kira first. I don't know if you know a Minister of State for Health from your party called Ashwini Chaubey. He called my leader, Rahul Gandhi, Nale ke Kira. You have no clue what your leaders say. How dare? Do you remember that? That is what is a third-rate person. That man called Ashwini Chaubey is third-rate. Did the Prime Minister of India take any action on that? If he believes in that, let me remind you much more. Who called Jersey cow Sonia Gandhi? Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Who called Vidwa ke khate? Prime Minister Narendra Modi. 50 crore girlfriend, Shashi Tharoor's wife, who's no more, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Raincoat mein nahate hain. Raincoat pehn ke nahate hain. I mean, to somebody like Mr. Manmohan Singh, who is one of our pride, a former Prime Minister, which even Obama admires. So we understand where this gali galoch comes from. It comes straight from the Prime Minister itself. And it has increased after 2014. Now, when they went out there to arrest Pawan Khera, there was no arrest warrant. There was nothing, no FIR, nothing. You can't, this is a democracy.
No,
this
an
is
FIR,
China.
Dr. Shama Mohammed, two points I want. Please allow me an interjection. Allow me an interjection. So your argument is that you're no better than the BJP. If your argument is taken on the face value, you pointed out to multiple instances of when the BJP leaders and the top BJP leaders used objectionable or abusive language against the Congress leaders. Your argument is that BJP does it, so does the Congress, so what's the big deal?
No, that's not my argument. That's not my argument. That is what you are trying to put in my mouth. So please, if you want to be a proper anchor, behave like one.
I am behaving like a proper anchor. Dr. Shama Mohammed, with due respect, we can have a debate without personal attacks. We can have a debate. We can have a debate without personal attacks. Please go ahead. I'll come to you, Rajiv ji. Let Dr. Shama Mohammed finish her argument, then I'll come to you. Yes, Dr. Shama Mohammed, an argument without personal attacks, please. Yes.
When all those gali galoch was there, we did not send the police out there. And I personally have never abused anyone. I do not like it and I'm not for it. I'm saying that once and for all. And Pawan Khera, when he mentioned it, he said, oh, excuse me. And I saw the clip of his. It was not that he stuck to it and said, he said, okay, Damodar Das hai. That is what. Now, let us see. Here the police have reached here to arrest him for this. In Haryana, 2 boys, Nasir and Junaid, have been burned alive. For what? Just because they were transporting a cow. And what does the police of Haryana say? We don't know where is Monu Manesar. He has disappeared. They couldn't find him. But here the police of a BJP state has arrived to Delhi for something like this. But when a heinous crime has happened there, the Khap Panchayat of Haryana is saying we will not allow the Rajasthan police to arrest any of these people. What is happening? Where is law and order? When law and order has to take a due course, the police have to act and arrest these guys who took those 2, Junaid and
so Dr. Shama Mohammed, you said to me that your argument is not a whataboutery. You said that your argument is not a whataboutery, and I was putting words in your mouth. I'm again trying to understand your argument. The BJP might be guilty of using objectionable language according to the Congress party. How do you explain what was said by Mr. Pawan Khera? Do you regret the comment that he made as a party, as the national party?
No. I am sorry to say that the Pawan Khera did not say anything out of this. He said it by mistake. He said that, acha, damo, ye nahi hai, wo hai. I saw the clip. There's nothing wrong in it. I don't understand overreaction by the police of Assam. I mean, FIR.
Mr. Rajiv Pandey, Dr. Shama Mohammed says this is an overreaction. This is an overreaction by the police of Assam. Yes, go ahead. Rajiv ji, go ahead.
If there is nothing wrong in this, can I come in now?
Yes, Dr. Shama Mohammed,
no, why is you are shouting? Now,
Rajiv ji, go ahead. Rajiv ji, go ahead. No personal attacks here. I want to have a debate. Rajiv ji, go ahead.
Anusha ji, I am saying on your channel, Congress spokesperson is saying there is nothing wrong. Just imagine. And if there is nothing wrong, why they are apologizing in Supreme Court? Why they are apologizing? And second point, one another Congress leader, if I am not wrong, Mr. Nana Patole told the correct name of father of Honorable Prime Minister. And what he then till he's saying, because they were just trying to, humiliate, abuse, and they are saying that who has started. I am not for all these things, but you know very well, when Honorable Narendra Modi ji was declared as a Prime Ministerial candidate, that time one of their leaders said, "Yahan par chai bikwaunga isse." Neach, this, that, let them say Honorable Prime Minister does not bother about all this.
Mr. Rajiv Pandey, Dr. Shama Mohammed, one thing I get from both of your arguments is that the other is guilty of an equal offence and hence there is nothing wrong. Well, the Supreme Court says there has to be a level of political discourse in this country, and I do believe that the citizens deserve better. I want to go to Javed Ansari as well, who's with us on the show. Mr. Ansari, coming to you. Sir, how do you understand what has played out today? You had Mr. Pawan Khera being detained, the matter reaching the Supreme Court, he getting an eventual bail from the Supreme Court and then being released by the Dwarka Court. Politically speaking, how does it play out for the BJP and the Congress party? Javed ji.
Look, the jury is still out on, for one, people do not appreciate this kind of language that politicians indulge in. And I've seen it. I've spent close to 40 years covering Parliament, that politics, unfortunately, in this country sometimes brings out the worst in our politicians. And there is nobody actually who smells of roses, or there are no innocent parties in this. We know for a fact that those in government, including the Prime Minister, I dare say, sometimes is less than Prime Ministerial. The opposition also is failing. The opposition also fails to show due courtesy and shoots from the hip, uses the kind of language and terminology which they should not. This just and the Chief Minister, we should leave the last word to what the Chief Justice said. He says there should be a level of discourse. Unfortunately, in this country, the level of political discourse keeps descending instead of improving. It just keeps regressing and descending. The sooner political parties, change tack and review their positions, the better it will be, because this is a poor commentary on the state of politics in this country.
Absolutely. I agree with every word that you said. Kapil Sankla, coming to you. Is there anything that law can do when it comes to political discourse? The observation by the Chief Justice of India, I think, is the sentiment that resonates across, that we deserve a certain degree of level and grace in political discourse in our country. When you see this case as a lawyer, the manner in which the charges were slapped, and I can only ask for a prima facie assessment as a lawyer, that were there grounds for 120B, 153A, 153B, 500, 504, 505, all these sections to be slapped in a case, in a matter like this? Mr. Sankla.
That's very beautifully put, but can we just for a second put the pyramid on its head? Let us just talk about this. That if we forget that this is a political case and we just think that somebody somewhere felt that a cognizable offence has taken place, that an offence which under the IPC is punishable under law and goes to a police station and registers an FIR. And we do know that the Honorable Supreme Court has stated that the police is duty bound to register the FIR. The police registers the FIR. Once the FIR is registered and a cognizable case is made out, which means that the police believes that certain sections are applicable to the facts of the case. In their belief, they are entitled, they have the right to arrest the accused. That is what the law is. So what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So if tomorrow somebody has a problem with you or with me and he goes to the police station, registers an FIR, then the police is entitled by law to arrest you or arrest me. So if I and you can be arrested for something that we have said, stated or offended someone, then so can be a politician. Just because he's a politician, he cannot say that, oh, but there has to be special cards that should be dealt for me. Right or wrong, this is what the Indian Penal Code states. Right or wrong, this is what the CRPC states. So if we do not amend it, the law is equal for everyone. Now I make, or somebody goes and makes a statement that offends somebody. Forget a politician, forget somebody. It actually offends a dukandar that he believes that there's a certain neta who he believes, or a certain god or a deity or a guru. And I have made a statement which somehow is deprecating, some belittling him.
Mr. Sankla, let me put this very candidly. There's a right to be offended in this country. And that right to be offended is protected by the Indian Penal Code. You're absolutely right there. But there is also another aspect whenever a case, whenever a case of this nature is registered, what is called the will of the police authorities and the political forces working with behind it. Mostly cases of this nature, whether you like it or not, are political in nature. And whenever the police acts on such complaints or such cases, it is seen through a political prism, and you can't ignore that. Mr. Sankla.
Well, the second part is absolutely right. It is seen through a political prism is absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, why don't we remove the prism for a second? Why don't we remove the lens and see what would have happened if a normal person, a common man, would have got an FIR registered, managed to get it registered?
Sure.
Would the police not be entitled to arrest the accused, to investigate? Yes. And if they can arrest him, then why not somebody else just because he's a politician? That is what my question is.
All right.
And to say that, we went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court protected us.
Yeah.
Or just to conclude. Well, just a second.
Rajivji,
the Honorable Supreme Court in plethora of judgments, including so the right of a person to get the FIRs clubbed is enshrined in CRPC under section 173.
All right.
The Honorable Supreme Court, including Justice
I do take your point. So Kapil Sankla largely argues that whenever there is a complaint that is registered, the police duty bound to do that. But I want to talk a bit about Javed sir, I'll just come back to you. Give me 30 seconds. Rajat, coming to you and trying to understand the political implications of it. This is a very strong government. And as I said earlier, nobody agrees with the sort of comments that were made against the Prime Minister and his father. But does it really show the government in the right light and perspective when actions like these are taken? Many would argue that this is a self-goal of sorts.
Anusha, it is not just about this government. All governments are strong. When you're talking about proportionality, was this action proportional to the crime that was, supposedly caused here? You will have to look at a proportionality in the broader context of India. Look at what is happening in different states. We've seen how politicians, in every single state, you pick Maharashtra, you pick West Bengal, you pick Tamil Nadu, you pick Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. Look at the leadership in each of these states who get offended at the drop of a hat, and they go after individual citizens who have made cartoons or made a sarcastic remark.
Okay.
Look at how, the police then acts in a way that is more loyal than the king, and then they go out and prove a point. But therefore, proportionality, I don't see that much of an issue, because largely this is what is the benchmark proportionality in our country. Good or bad, it is for us citizens to take a call on.
Okay.
I personally, if you ask me, I think it's over the board. One shouldn't react this much. But I think, looking at the normal political milieu of our country, this is the norm. There's nothing disproportionate here.
There's nothing disproportionate here. Ideally, this kind of action should not be seen. Javed sir, a quick response from you, and then I'll go to Rajiv Pandey and Dr. Sharma Mohammed. Javed sir.
Look, on the point that the learned lawyer was making, absolutely, the technical point, he's absolutely right. Any citizen under the law has to be, all citizens under the law must be treated equally. Why should politicians be different? But unfortunately in this country, and we can't be blind to that fact that the law is not applied equally. As far as this question of an FIR being filed or a complaint being filed, if an ordinary citizen goes and files a complaint, then that complaint can even is often dismissed, and the courts order that they should check whether he can afford to fight this litigation as well. Absolutely. So let's also not be naive and blind to the fact that this principle is not applied equally and uniformly.
And often a citizen has to go to a court because the FIR is not registered, and the courts have to intervene and tell the police to register the cases. Yes. Mr. Rajiv Pandey, I'm coming back to you. The law
and look at the double standards in the manner in which the police has reacted. There's an FIR against a wanted.
I'll take all those points. Mr. Rajiv Pandey, coming to you. The law is not applied equally. And this entire argument that, there was an FIR, police just did their job. If that was the sheer case, then every complaint of political nature should be dealt in the same manner. That's not the case. That's what senior journalists are arguing.
First, I completely agree with Javed ji that it should be done, law should be dealt with. Everybody should face the law with equal proportion. I am not for that. What I am saying, for last 3 or 4 hours, I have seen all Congress spokesperson talking about how he has come without notice, without warrant. I think they should read CRPC, they should read IPC, so they will understand, they will get educated that there is a cognizable offence, non-cognizable offence. In this case, Pawan Khera, who is now accused in 3 criminal cases, which has very serious sections are applied by the courts, by the police. So now he will have, if he gets bail, it's all right. Otherwise, he will have to go. He may have to go under custodial interrogation if he doesn't get bail. He has committed crime, but the police has applied section. That is one point.
Rajiv
Second point,
allow me an interjection.
Just one line.
If there were serious grounds for a case to be made of this nature, why would you think that the Supreme Court would intervene in a manner that it did?
No, Honorable Supreme Court of India tries to protect people. That's not a problem. I am a practicing lawyer, so it is an interim protection. It is not the final protection.
Yes,
Maybe they will say you go and try for your bail in the court. I am saying one very important point, Anusha ji, just give me 30 seconds. Congress party, after losing repeatedly election after elections, has started abusing personally. You know, in every channel you will find.
Rajiv ji, I have last 1 minute on the show. It's only fair that I give Dr. Shama Mohammed a chance.
He's being termed
Dr. Shama Mohammed.
Just understand.
This is a matter that was with the police authorities. They had to take the action. They only followed the spirit of the law. Dr. Shama Mohammed.
No, I just want to say something very important. He said he has 3 criminal cases. In that context, if you look at it, then Himanta Biswa Sarma, the CBI should be sent by the Home Minister, because he's not yet free from Sharda scam. He's not free from the Louis Burgess scam. Why is he out? Let's send the CBI to question him and put him behind bars. So that is what there is undeclared emergency.
I think again you don't understand law. Your problem is that you are innocent of law. Agencies could not find any evidence. That's why agencies not taking action against him. Again, Congress party is ignorant of the law. And ignorance of law is no excuse.
You could not even put an FIR. The policemen were taking the FIR. Do you know that? And here the police are so fast, took the FIR and ran here. Unnao, Hathras, how many rape cases I can bring against your government, your people? Katua.
Well,
I think no case of FIR is registered, charge sheet is filed. Don't lie on the national TV.
I'm short of time. Mr. Rajiv Pandey, Dr. Shama Mohammed, Javed Ansari, Rajat Sethi and Kapil Sankla. Thank you everyone for joining us on the show. Echoing what the Supreme Court said, that there has to be a level of political discourse in this country. The world's largest democracy clearly deserves better politicians and better discourse. Another important story. Now, the city of Amritsar witnessed chaotic scenes. The local police station of Ajnala had hundreds of supporters breaking barricades, attacking the police station. Amritpal Singh, a self-proclaimed Sikh leader and a supporter of Khalistan movement, has been consistently issuing threats, demanding the release of his supporters. He and his supporters have been booked under various provisions of the Indian Penal Code. He has issued repeated statements threatening that if the police does not release his supporters or the members of the organization, there would be adverse consequences. The border state of Punjab has had tough lessons learned in the 1980s during the peak of the Khalistani movement, and any kind of lapse on the law and order situation has a direct bearing on the national security. Why has the Punjab Police not arrested the man so far? Is there any man organization bigger than law of the land or the rule of law? First up, a special report.
Dramatic scenes unfolded in Punjab's Amritsar today. Hundreds of followers of self-proclaimed Sikh preacher and Waris Punjab Day chief Amritpal Singh Sandhu gathered in front of the Ajnala Police Station. They were protesting against the FIR filed against Amritpal and the arrest of his close aide Lovepreet Tufan. The cops also made heavy security arrangements, laying barricades to prevent Amritpal and his associates from reaching the police station. But Amritpal Singh and his supporters came prepared as well. Armed with swords and guns and even a small bus, they breached the fencing outside the police station. Soon they clashed with the police, who ended up lathi-charging the protesters.
ਭਾਈ ਅਮਰਿਤਪਾਲ ਹੋਣਾ ਦੇ ਸਾਥੀਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਜੋ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੂਰਾ ਜੋ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਜੋ ਆ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਆ।
But Amritpal and his supporters shoved their way inside the police station, where he issued an ultimatum to the cops.
ਇਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਮੋਟਿਵ ਤੋਂ ਪਰਚਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੀ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਮੰਗ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਮੈਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ 1 ਦਿਨ ਦਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਮੈਂ 4 ਦਿਨ ਦਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਬੋਧ ਸਿੰਘ ਵਾਲੀ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੋਂ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਨ ਜੋਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ। ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਵਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਅੱਧੇ ਘੰਟੇ ਜਾਂ ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰਚਾ ਨਾ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਹੈ।
Within an hour of that threat, Punjab Police climbed down.
ਵੀ ਮੁਕੱਦਮੇ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ, ਜੋ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ ਦਿਵਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਪੀਸਫੁਲ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿਣਗੇ ਔਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਨਸੁਖਾਨੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏਗੀ।
So what explains Amritpal Singh's clout that the police and the administration in Punjab have both decided to turn a blind eye?
Well, we'll tell you about the clout and why the police is turning a blind eye. We have the Punjab Chief Minister's office, which has categorically said that no one is being released and no FIRs are being quashed or taken back by the authorities. Listen. Well, that was the word that came from the Punjab Chief Minister. Let's also tell you who is Amritpal. The 29-year-old Amritpal Singh Sandhu is now being called the new poster boy of Sikh radical politics in Punjab. He hails from Jalupura Khera village in Baba Bakala Tehsil of Amritsar. He left for Dubai back in 2012 and worked in the transport business there. He returned to India last year and took over Waris Punjab Day. This particular organization was founded by late Punjabi actor and lawyer Deep Sidhu. Deep Sidhu, you remember, died in a car crash last year. Amritpal then announced his presence in Punjab on the 25th of September 2022 last year, when he participated in a large gathering at the Sikh holy city of Anandpur Sahib. He was baptized according to the Sikh tradition. 4 days later, a dastar bandi or a turban tying ceremony was held for him in Moga Rode village, which was the native place of slain militant leader and Khalistan ideologue Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale. The ceremony marks Sandhu's official installation as the head of Waris Punjab Day. During his Dastarbandi ceremony, he allegedly openly declared Bhindranwale as his inspiration. Amritpal's demeanor, attire and oration are largely an imitation of Bhindranwale. His recent public gatherings attracted a sizable crowd. His major support base is the youth of Punjab. He typically speaks of working on larger religious and social transformation in the state. He focuses on solving the problem of drug addiction and believes that taking youth back into the Puritan form of Sikhi is also the key objective. In October last year, Amritpal Singh initiated over 1,000 people into Sikh faith and said that it would result in de-addiction within the youngsters. In November, he began a month-long journey across the state to encourage this. But what is making the establishment nervous is his open support and demand for Khalistan. Now, Amritpal Singh claims that there is a continuous genocide, quote-unquote, of Sikhs in India. Take a look at some of the controversial statements that he has made. First, he claimed that the main issue right now that Punjab is facing was slavery and India's colonial rule in the state. He goes on to say that the dilution of Sikh values, encouraging Sikhs to cut their hair and shave their beard, are all part of this quote-unquote silent genocide in Punjab. He further said that Sikh empire was lost to the British in 1849 and we are asking for that empire to be back. He further claimed that the idea of Khalistan is not for a separate state. It sounded like we were connected to something. He also says that the point is that we were forcefully taken into Indian nation by the British. There was no India before 1947. It's not just the provocative statements. Amritpal Singh and his aides have had a very questionable and an objectionable history. Just 2 days ago, he threatened Union Home Minister Amit Shah and cited Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's, the former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's fate. He was booked for kidnapping, theft, voluntarily causing hurt at a police station in Ajnala. He's not been arrested so far. In January, Amritpal Singh visited Mohali to show solidarity with those demanding the release of Bandi Sikhs who are convicted in the prison on militancy charges, very serious charges. He warned of action if the Bandi Sikhs are not released. In December last year, his supporters allegedly vandalized chairs at a Gurudwara in Jalandhar and set them on fire. And in November, police booked Bhagwant Singh, a close aide of Amritpal, for allegedly posting pictures of him holding guns on social media. One reason for Amritpal's rise is a sense of disenchantment in Punjab. There's a restlessness due to issues like unemployment and drug addiction. There is also anger over delay in trying the Sikh village cases of releasing Sikh political prisoners. Remember, it was the socio-economic issues that had fueled the separatist Khalistani movement back in the 1980s. Before, it was dealt with in iron fist, quashed, and normalcy returned only in the mid-90s. Amritpal's radical posturing has prompted many politicians in Punjab to point that he may destabilize the state. Amritpal on his part claims that he is working for Punjab and is opposed to all those who are working against it. So why has he not been arrested so far, and what is stopping the police authorities to take proper action? Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Hemant Attri, who's a senior journalist. We also have Mr. Ranveer Sharma, who's the former IPS officer. Mr. Attri, coming to you first. What explains the attitude of the Punjab Police? If he is named in a particular FIR, with those serious charges that I've just categorically elaborated upon, why hasn't the police gone ahead and arrested him? He's a man who's openly daring the Union Home Minister, issuing statement one after the other that threaten the national security. What explains the Punjab Police reticence?
Anusha ji, it simply explains the reluctance of the Punjab Police, precisely. See, what he has done in last, say, about 2-3 days, forget about what he has been doing for last, say, about 11 months.
Yeah.
He openly threatened Punjab Police of what happened today. And see the, most unprofessional attitude of Punjab Police. They didn't even issue prohibitory orders today in Ajnala. And what happened thereafter? Thousands and thousands of people, they gathered there and they attacked the police station and they flouted every norm. They were carrying, weapons. They were carrying everything that they could have. And what was Punjab Police doing? They were just simply trying to stop. The issue is Punjab Police is a very, very professional force. They must know how to control these kind of situations. He had openly given a threat that we will tell you who we are.
Yeah.
And what Punjab Police didn't done, they simply allowed them to gather there, do whatever they wanted. Now, coming to your second question, imagine somebody threatening a person like Home Minister of India openly with the dire consequences which Mrs. Gandhi, faced. There is no FIR till moment we were talking, you and me are talking.
Yeah.
What kind of governance it is? See, there can be party differences. There can be so many ideological differences. But a government is chosen for governance.
Sure.
Where is governance in Punjab?
Where is
What
governance
kind
in
of
Punjab?
things
That's the question I want to take to Mr. Ranveer Sharma as well, the former IPS officer. Sir, the peak of militancy in Punjab is a memory that has taught us a lot of lessons. With that in mind, and this man who claims that Bhindranwale is his ideal, he should be dealt with an iron fist. What is stopping the Punjab Police? Mr. Hemant Attri was talking about the unprofessional attitude. Is there a lack of political will as well? Mr. Sharma.
I agree with ma'am that there is a lack of political will because police has to work under the leadership of political will, because whosoever is a DG or a IG CID, he has to take order from the political bosses. The political bosses, if they don't have the political will, if we have to control such types of incidents, then police became helpless. Now, in this case also, police was not prepared well, number one, because they were not having the maximum policemen who can control the crowd. First thing. Secondly, if they don't have the police force, now their only thing is to make some amicably arrangement, which they did it. If it's all right, if there is just some hanky-panky from the police side also and from these people also, let the thing should be verified. So to control that situation,
but
which
Mr.
was...
Sharma, I fail to understand. What kind of amicable solution you can have with an organization or a man like this who directly issues statements against the national security, who's repeatedly making secessionist remarks, who's openly demanding a separate state, who's borderline issuing threats to the Union Home Minister. Can you really have some kind of quote-unquote amicable settlement with an organization and a man like this? Mr. Sharma.
Ma'am, there were 2-3 things. The first thing, there was not enough force to control that crowd of thousands of the people, number one. Number two, they were attacking the police thana where their man was already behind the bar. So their demand was to cancel the FIR and release that man. Secondly, at that very moment, to control the situation, I think police have taken the right step. Let it be later on, we'll verify the things or we'll find out the truth. What was the actual truth behind this scene? Now, there was a lack of, leadership in the police department also and the political will also, that both the things, दोनों चीजें इकट्ठी नहीं होने की वजह से, gap of communication होने की वजह से, भीड़ ज्यादा होने की वजह से.
As a student of history, and if one were to go back to the period of 1980s, you require political will to deal with people like these. Mr. Hemant Attri, coming to you, what explains the lack of political will? Amritpal, can a man like him be, left scot-free? If he's making statements like these one after another, why can't the police register a case and arrest him? He's already been named under multiple FIRs. He's not been arrested even in those ones. He's been openly saying, I'm named in the FIR, come and arrest me. That's an open dare.
Anisha ji, Punjab Police is one of the most professional forces in this country. What is happening right now in a place like Ajnala, that despite an open threat by somebody like this gentleman, they are not able to prepare for themselves. Who is responsible for that? Precisely the police leadership is there. My worry is somewhat larger than that. It's a border state and this particular place is a border area. It's 40 kilometers from Punjab border. But the Punjab government is playing with. Anusha, believe you me, the kind of things that they are happening today, they are bound to go beyond control for the very simple reason that this gentleman is testing the nerves of not only the state government, but also of the union government.
Absolutely.
See what is happening now. The kind of threat that he posed today. You tell me one thing. If Punjab Police had not those kind of proofs with them, why in the first place they arrested this gentleman? And if at all they have arrested, they are interrogating, they are getting all those proofs. Where is the reason for all this tamasha? The thing is, it is an unbecoming kind of a thing as far as the government is concerned. And one has to understand the sensitivity of it. As you rightly pointed out in the initial thing, there are 3 very major points. First is socio-economic, second is drug menace, and the third and the most important that we are forgetting is our proximity, particularly of this area with Punjab, with Pakistan, and the kind of weapons that they are being thrown every day through the border by the drones. We have to understand
Ranveer
that
Sharma, as we come to the end of this discussion, I want to have a forward-looking perspective from you. I am sure that the union government is watching the situation very, very closely. National security is a matter that this government has taken very seriously. When it comes to the next few days, next few months, if this is not taken into control, this is likely to get worse. This is simple math for anyone. What do you think should be the action from the Punjab Police? Is there a case for an intervention by the union government as well? Mr. Sharma.
Yes, there is a requirement of the union government also. They should also talking with the political leader as well as the state police also. Both these police, they have to take actions. Now they require an action now, because without taking the serious actions against the gentleman, he is not going to be, control the situation. That the main point is why he is against the country, why he is taking a separate decision for the separate country like Khalistan and all. Because on this particular situation or incident, police was not, I think, well prepared about the incident.
Mr. Hemant Attri, closing comments from you. Is there ground for the union government to intervene?
Anusha, very, very simple thing. One more point. There was an agitation going on Punjab-Chandigarh border. And what happened there? Same kind of situation arisen. And many people from Chandigarh police were, hurted for the very simple reason due to non-preparedness. The same thing happened today. Almost half a dozen policemen were, injured today, and 8 to 10 protesters also injured. The thing is, when they will get a real lesson of how to prepare for such kind of eminence, they are miserably failing, and the country will have to pay a very heavy cost if they don't mend their ways. Union government also needs to effectively intervene, because they if you remember, last October also they had cautioned Punjab government to keep a very close eye on the activities of these gentlemen. And still all these things are happening. Anusha, this is a very serious situation emerging out. Okay. And Punjab Police, Chandigarh Police and everybody has to quickly learn. Otherwise we will miss so many things that it will be very difficult to repair. That's a real worry. And both the governments need to learn it immediately and quickly.
Well, Mr. Hemant Attri and Mr. Ranveer Sharma, thank you gentlemen for joining us on the broadcast. National security is not a matter in which there can be any kind of settlement. The Punjab Police needs to deal with elements like Amritpal with an iron fist. We can't have a repeat of what we saw in the 1980s in the state of Punjab. Now on to another interesting story. Well, a jail cell is not going to stop some criminals from living a life of luxury. Conman Sukesh Shekhar, who is accused in a multi-crore money laundering case, is a proof of that. A surprise raid was conducted inside Sukesh jail cell. CCTV footage shows the conman standing in a corner as officials go through his cupboard and other belongings. The team comprised of Tihar jailer Deepak Sharma, Deputy Superintendent Jai Singh and personnel from the Central Security Forces. Now the team recovered Gucci sleepers worth about 1.5 lakh rupees, 2 jeans worth 80,000 rupees from Sukesh cell. This is inside the jail. Remember, jail authorities routinely carry out these surprise inspection to ensure inmates don't have any kind of contraband like weapons, mobile phones or even narcotics. But Sukesh's stash was quite unprecedented. After the inspection, the team leaves. Sukesh is seen breaking down, holding his head in his hands and wiping tears. Sukesh has been jailed on charges of alleged money laundering and extorting several people. And in the past, Sukesh Chandrasekhar has turned his jail cell into a con ops headquarters. He ran a full-fledged extortion racket when he was in Rohini jail. His tools were a cell phone and extraordinary impersonation skills. He posed as an official from either the Union Law Ministry, Home Ministry or even CBI. He used a software that spoofed numbers of top government officials and promised to help his victims in cases against them. Sukesh was already in judicial custody in the 200 crore scam case where he had allegedly duped Aditi Singh, the wife of former Fortis healthcare promoter Shivinder Mohan Singh. Last week, Sukesh was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in a fresh money laundering case linked to cheating former relegate promoter Malvinder Singh's wife. Now, Sukesh Chandrasekhar was arrested in a 200 crore money laundering case in which Bollywood actors like Jacqueline Fernandez and Nora Fatehi have also been questioned. Jacqueline Fernandez is accused in a money laundering probe related to the alleged scam. In her statement in the court, the actor said that Chandrasekhar played with her emotions and made her life hell. Chandrasekhar further claims that Nora Fatehi was jealous of Fernandez and tried to brainwash him against her because she wanted him to leave Fernandez and start dating her. And if you were wondering about the Gucci sleepers and the jeans worth 80,000 rupees, take a look at what Sukesh reportedly gifted Jacqueline Fernandez as per the Enforcement Directorate. He gifted a Maserati and a Porsche worth more than 1 crore. The conman also gifted the actor a Mini Cooper, which she claimed she returned. The car is worth about 50 lakh rupees. He gave her a horse worth 52 lakhs, 4 Persian cats worth 36 lakh rupees. He reportedly gave her designer bags from Gucci, Chanel worth about 5 lakhs and a pair of Louis Vuitton shoes worth 2 lakhs. So those are the gifts. That's the trajectory of this conman. He's been shifted from multiple jails, but his pattern continues. Sunil Kumar Gupta, who's the former legal advisor to Tihar, is joining us on the broadcast. Good evening, Mr. Gupta. Thank you for speaking with us. What explains the case of this conman? He has been shifted from Tihar jail. There are multiple efforts which are taken by the authorities. Yet when his cell is raided, you find Gucci sleepers, jeans worth thousands of rupees. What explains? Is this sheer lack of administration within the jail? Or this man is some kind of, genius conman, quote unquote, which is clearly a criminal one?
Yeah, good evening, Basically, you see that earlier also he had been booked for cheating the outsider for 200 crores. And now again, he was able to take prohibited article. Basically, in the jail manual, there are certain articles which have been prescribed as prohibited articles.
Yeah.
And these expensive, these sleepers and these jeans, these are prohibited as per the provisions of the jail manual. When he, even though he was already under surveillance, when he again took these things inside the jail, it shows that some staff was conniving with him so that he may smuggle these things inside his cell. And now, what will happen. Basically, no criminal case is registered if somebody is smuggling prohibited article inside the jail. Now, he could be punished by the superintendent jail. And the punishment for the under trial is that some privileges are forfeited for some time. Like interview facilities are forfeited for some time.
Mr. Gupta, he is a repeat offender. He has done this earlier as well. Like you rightly point out that there are certain punishments that can be meted out by the jail authorities. But what does this tell us about the jail authorities in India, whether it's the Tihar jail or the latest prison of Mandoli where he has been shifted?
Basically, my experience of 35 years with the prison administration speaks that whenever some money people, rich people, they are coming to the jail, whole system is paralyzed. Here also it has happened in the Sukesh and Shekhar case. But earlier also I have seen in so many cases, I can quote you so many cases, but it would not be proper to quote those cases. In every time, whenever some money people, rich people, they enter the jail, they collapse the system. They collapse the system. Jail staff, they were conniving with that person, and prohibited articles were passed inside the jail in contravention of the rules.
So you're basically saying whenever there are rich and powerful people, including the likes of Sukesh Chandra Shekhar, they lead to the collapse of a system. I take this opportunity to also talk about the much needed prison reforms in our country. Well, we have all those details that have come out, and these details are very unprecedented in many ways. The kind of luxury items that have been found, the manner in which he conned multiple men and women, the manner in which he's been running extortion rackets, but his conduct within the jail, despite being in custody, being booked in multiple cases, is quite shocking to say the very least. Not only it shows poorly upon the prison authorities, but also makes us wonder that systemically there are many more changes that need to be brought when it comes to prison administration in this country, sir.
Yeah. Basically, you see, there are so many recommendations of the Jail Reforms Committee. The union government has constituted the committee, state government has constituted the committee. But there has never been the full implementation of the report of those committees. Basically, you see, if we talk about Tihar, here we don't have training facility for the staff. We are sending our staff for training sometime to the Delhi Police or sometime to the Punjab Police. We don't have our own training school. So, you see, when we don't have our own training school, we are not imparting proper training to the staff.
Sir, I'm short of time and I want to ask you this question. Is there any prison in this country that can really make sure that a conman like Sukesh Chandra Shekhar, whenever he's put inside the prison, for the norms of the jail and not these luxury items or some kind of extortion racket which is run from within the jail premises? Is that even possible for Indian jail authorities?
Yeah. Basically, if we see the model jail manual, which is formulated by the central government, even though this jail manual are drafted by the state government, they specifically speak that such person who are repeat offender.
Well, Sukesh Chandra Shekhar's case, sir, is clearly a case in point for prison reforms. And to say the least about the manner in which he's been running rackets and these kind of luxury items that have been recovered. Well, completely out of time. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the show. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Brass Tacks. Thank you for watching.
लेकिन हमने तो कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की और शुरुआत तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से हुई। यदि ये मर्यादा खुद नहीं लांघते, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने क्या कहा कि अमित शाह जी ने क्या कहा, उनके राष्ट्रीय नेताओं ने क्या कहा, सारे लोगों ने हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेताओं के खिलाफ में ऐसे सदन के भीतर और सदन के बाहर भी इन लोगों ने बात कही है।
और रणदीप सिंह सुरजेवाला जी उनके साथ जा रहे हैं। इन लोगों को असम की पुलिस लेकर जा रही है। ये वही असम की पुलिस है जब निहत्थों पर वार होता है तो चुप रहती है। मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ इन्होंने कौन सा ऐसा जुर्म किया है कि इनको यहाँ पर डिटेन किया जा रहा है और असम की पुलिस हरकत में आ रही है। ये तानाशाही नहीं तो और क्या है। ये बात करते हैं अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी की, ये आपकी अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी की असलियत है। और अगर आपको एक्शन लेना ही है अब शब्दों पर, तो खूनी पंजा पर, कांग्रेस की विधवा पर, जर्सी गाय पर, 50 करोड़ की गर्लफ्रेंड पर रेनकोट पहनकर नहाते हैं हमारे प्रधानमंत्री को कहने पर पहले नरेंद्र मोदी जी को गिरफ्तार करिए और फिर किसी के खिलाफ एक्शन लीजिएगा। निजी आक्षेप आप लगाते हैं, नेहरू का सरनेम क्यों नहीं यूज करते जैसी ओछी बात भारतीय संस्कृति के खिलाफ आप बोलते हैं और हमारे नेताओं को यहाँ से अरेस्ट करके ले जा रहे हैं। एक स्लिप ऑफ टंग हुआ, उन्होंने अपने आप को करेक्ट किया। आपने तो पूरे होशो हवास में इतनी भद्दी और गंदी बातें कही हैं कि आप मुंह छिपाने लायक नहीं है।
We are shifting focus now to more news that's coming in. Sources have now told CNN News 18, this is as far as the controversy of Pawan Khera being deplaned is concerned, that the deplaning was possibly due to an FIR against the Congress leader. Indigo is speaking to the ground staff that was present there because remember, it was not just the deplaning of Pawan Khera, but there were consequent protests that took place on the tarmac as well. Sources have now revealed to CNN News 18 that the airline had no role in deplaning Pawan Khera or deboarding him. It was the Delhi police, in fact, that had reached the tarmac, and all questions need to be asked of the Delhi police of what exactly transpired. Ridhima, my colleague, now joins us for more on this. Ridhima, what else have you gathered from your sources within Indigo?
Poonam, as you rightly pointed out, this was a 60024 which was supposed to take off from the national capital on its way to Raipur, but before the flight could actually take off, Pawan Khera of the Congress party, in fact, was deplaned. Sources are now telling us that the airline actually had no role as far as the deplaning of Pawan Khera is concerned, because these are questions that are now being raised by the Congress as to why he was deplaned. So the sequence of events, what we've gathered from our sources looks like this, but the police officials were already at the tarmac. They, in fact, had identified Pawan Khera. They wanted Pawan Khera to be deplaned, and after he was deplaned, there was a lot of ruckus that was created by rest of the Congress delegation because they wanted to protest and they wanted to deboard the flight as well, which they eventually did. So all of the rest of the Congress delegation, which included leaders like Randeep Singh Surjewala, Supriya Srinath, the Congress spokesperson, others, all followed Pawan Khera and they deplaned and deboarded the flight on the tarmac as well, and then started protesting at the tarmac, which eventually led to a massive delay. Indigo is still speaking to ground staff to try and understand what was the issue, but sources are also indicating that this could be because of an already existing FIR against Pawan Khera. The flight has already been delayed. But the larger question also is, which is going to be very important to track here, Poonam, is that in a case like this, what happens to the other passengers who in fact have been waiting as the Congress continues to protest? Under this, there are already guidelines that if one particular passenger inconveniences the others, there can be action taken, though nothing has been confirmed by the airline yet. We're still awaiting an official confirmation.
Right, Ridhima. Like you said, what exactly happens to those people who are bearing the brunt of this protest that continues on the tarmac here at the Delhi airport? Do stay on with me. Let's listen into what Pawan Khera and the other Congress leaders had to say after he was deboarded.
मुझे भी नहीं मालूम, मुझे कहा गया आपका सामान दिखवाना है, मैंने कहा मेरे पास कोई सामान है ही नहीं, हैंडबैग है, बोले नहीं इस बार आप आइए, कंफ्यूजन है। नीचे आया तो कहा कि आप नहीं जा सकते, अभी डीसीपी आएंगे आपसे मिलने। मुझे खुद नहीं मालूम, पिछले 20 मिनट से डीसीपी की इंतजार कर रहे हैं। क्या नियम है, क्या कानून है, क्यों मुझे रोका जा रहा है, मुझे नहीं मालूम। इंतजार ही कर रहा हूँ डीसीपी साहब की आ जाए फिर देखिए।
हम लोग 60204 इंडिगो की फ्लाइट से दिल्ली से रायपुर जा रहे थे। इस फ्लाइट में मेरे कोलीग पवन खेरा जी मेरे साथ थे, यहाँ पर जीएसओ है, यहाँ पे रणदीप जी है, काफ़ी सारे लोग हम लोग थे कांग्रेस के। और पवन खेरा जी को आकर बोला गया कि इनका बैग कुछ एक्सचेंज हो गया है और इसलिए उनको उतारा जा रहा है। जब ये नीचे उतरे तो यहाँ पे पता चला कि डीसीपी ने इनको डीप्लेन किया है और कोई नोटिस सर्व करने की बात है। हमारा सवाल ये है कि ये किसके ऑर्डर से हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है? हमारे महाधिवेशन में ये व्यवधान क्यों डाला जा रहा है, और ऐसा पवन जी ने क्या कहा है? अगर पवन जी ने कुछ कहा तो आप कार्रवाई करिए। डीप्लेन आप किस धारा के अंतर्गत कर रहे हैं? और हम लोग तब तक यहाँ खड़े रहेंगे जब तक हम सब लोग फ्लाइट में वापस, इंक्लूडिंग पवन खेड़ा जी, बैठ नहीं जाते।
Now, it's been a few hours, a few minutes at least, since that drama unfolded on the tarmac here at the national capital, and that continues. Unfortunately, those people who are the other passengers who are inside that aircraft continue to bear the brunt before Indigo decides what next. My colleague was reporting from on ground there when the Congress leaders decided to deplane along with Pawan Khera and sit there on a dharna right there on the tarmac. Take a look at this report.
दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर कांग्रेस के नेता हंगामा कर रहे हैं, नारेबाजी कर रहे हैं। उसकी वजह यह है कि पवन खेड़ा को डीबोर्ड किया गया है, ये कह के कि पुलिस आपको नोटिस सर्व करने आ रही है। इसी फ्लाइट में पवन खेड़ा बोर्डिंग कर चुके थे। कांग्रेस के तमाम नेता यहाँ पर आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद उनको सामान पहचानने की बात कह के नीचे उतारा गया। फिर पुलिस यहाँ पर आई है और पुलिस पवन खेड़ा के साथ देखिए इस वक्त बातचीत कर रही है, चर्चा कर रही है। यहाँ पर अगर आपको मैं तस्वीरें दिखा सकूं, देखिए यहाँ पर पुलिस है सादी वर्दी में, और एक वर्दीधारी पुलिसकर्मी भी यहाँ पर आया उनको नोटिस सर्व करने। पवन खेड़ा यहाँ पर दिखाई दे रहे हैं आपको, और ये जो ग्राउंड स्टाफ है वो चारों तरफ आपको नजर आ रहा होगा। फिलहाल जो फ्लाइट है वो यहाँ पर खड़ी है, तमाम जो यात्री हैं वो नीचे उतर चुके हैं। कांग्रेस के नेता नारेबाजी कर रहे हैं, और इस वक्त आलम यह है कि दिल्ली से रायपुर जा रही फ्लाइट अपनी जगह पर खड़ी है और नहीं